0.43%. So we can see that in a span of mere span of 18 years, QDSSC have achieved efficiency close to what DSSC has achieved in 30 years. That's why QDs have QDs show a promise of much higher efficiency in the coming years. So let's have a look at the schematic diagram of how quantum dot solar cell works. So basically, quantum dots play the role of sensitizing material, whereby they capture the photons of the sunlight. By capturing the photon, the electron from the HOMO is exciton is generated. That means electron-hole pair is generated. The electron is transferred from the valence band or the HOMO of the dye to the LUMO of the dye. From the LUMO of the QD, it is transferred. From the LUMO of the QD, it is transferred to the LUMO of the TiO2. From TiO2, it is transferred to the circuit into the FTO, and simultaneously, the whole is transferred to the redox couple, and from the redox couple, it is transferred to the FTO, that is the platinum counter electrode.
These pages are not sliding.
Yes.
Your slides are not moving.
Yeah, now it has come. Otherwise, it is becoming static.
Okay. So I think, sir, actually, I'm doing in full presentation mode, then it is not working.
Okay, but for work you follow that.
You may change that.
Yes, sir. Now it is visible, right?
Yeah, it is visible.
So you have shared the entire screen, then the problem will be solved. I think you have shared only the window. We have shared only one window. You'll have to share the entire screen. I think then the problem will be solved.
Your slides are seen, but nothing is seen on this slide. It is so small.
You can start the slideshow, that will fill up the screen.
Stop. Just a minute. Okay. Okay.
Enter screen.
Okay. No? Firefox cannot allow permanent execution.
I think it is better now.
Okay. So now it is showing, sir?
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
This is correct. This is all right.
Okay. Sorry, sir. So we're discussing about the schematics of the quantum dot solar cell. After the electron is transferred to the TiO2, it goes to the FTO, and from there it goes into the circuit. Simultaneously, the hole which is created is transferred through the redox couple to the counter electrode. At the source of the counter electrode, the electron and hole pair are recombined and thereby completing the circuit. Take a look at why we have chosen quantum dots. Firstly, they show exceptional optical and electronic properties, which means basically by tuning their size, we can tune their band gap, and by tuning their band gap, we can obtain different sizes of quantum dots, which can be used in different kind of applications as required. Next, they show photoluminescence, that is, by absorbing a photon of higher energy, they can emit emission, and they can show emission at a lower energy. Next, the most important properties of quantum dots is multiple exciton generation, and that means by absorbing a single photon of light, they can generate more than one electron-hole pair. Because of this property, the theoretical maximum efficiency which QDs can, quantum dot solar cell can produce is roughly about 46-47%. And if the maximum possible MEG, multiple exciton generation in a system can be considered, then the theoretical efficiency goes all the way up to 85%. So that's one of the reasons for choosing quantum dot solar cells. Next, they show broad absorption spectra. That means different materials, if we prepare quantum dots of different materials, then we can practically cover the visible entire visible part of UV and near IR spectrum. and hence we can get an efficient device. Moving on to the objectives of my thesis work. First objective was to develop a prototype quantum dot solar cell from chemically synthesized QDs at fairly low temperatures. Next, the focus was on optimization of working electrode and the band alignment of quantum dots of various semiconductors in order to have a wider region, in order to cover a wider region of the electromagnetic spectrum, visible spectrum basically. So for this we chose three different systems. First one system was choosing mixed size CDSC quantum dots for QDSC, and the next system we prepared CDSC CDS core shell quantum dots for QDSC. While in the third system we chose we modified the working electrode with reduced graphene oxide and graded structure of quantum dots for the QDSC. The detailed methodology of the work. First, synthesis of CDSC quantum dots for mixed size CDSC. The chosen selenium precursor was sodium selenosulfate, which was prepared by refluxing sodium sulfide and selenium in this kind of in the reflux setup for about, and this was done for about 1 hour. The temperature maintained was around 95-96 degrees. In a separate beaker, cadmium acetate was dissolved in distilled water. After about 1 hour, the blackest solution turned to almost transparent, and that was injected into the cadmium acetate solution. Within few seconds of injecting, the color of the solution started changing from milky to greenish, depending on the reaction temperature. Once the entire solution was colored, then that means it took around another 10-15 seconds it took for the entire solution to get colored. Once this was done, then mercaptoethanol, that is the capping agent, was added, and it was kept for stirring for another 10 minutes without any temperature. This entire procedure was followed for collecting samples at 40, 50, 60 and 70 degrees centigrade. Next, purification of these quantum dots. The QDs were centrifuged at 11,000 RPM for 8 minutes, followed by washing them with methanol and double distilled water. Next, these QDs were dispersed in toluene so that any excess amount of mercaptoethanol present in the system could be removed. Also, since these QDs do not mix in toluene, so they kind of form a lump, and so that any of the QD which is sticking on the walls, that can be removed, and so the collection becomes easier with toluene. So they were centrifuged again with toluene, and the top solution was discarded, and the vials were kept in vacuum overnight for further characterization. This is the powder form of the QDs which was obtained. Now we can see that with progress in temperature, there is a change in color from yellow to dark orange, and they were named as CE40, 50, 60 and CE70. Next, the fabrication of the solar cell using these QDs. Since we prepared 4 different quantum dots, we wanted to mix them so that again we could cover the maximum possible region of the visible spectrum. So we chose 3 different configurations. In the first one, QDSC1, equal amounts of the 4 QDs was taken. In QDSC2, 10, 40, 40, 10 ratio they were taken in, and in the third one, 20, 10, 50, 20 ratio was taken. The fabrication of quantum dot solar cell, there are different parts of the solar cell. So the platinum counter electrode, the electrolyte and the FTUs, they were all common in all of the systems. The only modification which was done was on the working electrode. So basically FTO glasses were cleaned and they were coated with blocking layer, and on some of the FTO glasses platinum was coated, which worked as the counter electrode. So, and they were sintered at 500 degrees centigrade. On the blocking layer coated FTO, a viscous paste of CDSC with 20% PVDF mixed with DMF was doctor bladed 100 degrees centigrade for about 30 minutes. Next, the POPG with iodine redox couple electrolyte was poured over it and sandwiched with platinum counter electrode. So we prepared 3 different cells, QDSC 1, 2 and 3. Next, synthesis of core shell quantum dots. Again here the cadmium and the selenium precursors were kept the same. The sulfur precursor chosen was Na2S. Here we wanted to check if the shell, that is the CDS, could cap, could sustain, could keep the size in control of the core shell, or if there is a requirement of the capping agent. So cadmium acetate solution was taken in 2 beakers, and in both the beakers, sodium selenosulfide and the Na2S solution was added one after another. In one of the beakers, capping agent was added, and while in another one, capping agent was not added. So they were named as CA and WCA. The one without capping agent was WCA, with capping agent CA. The device fabrication. According to the results obtained, we chose only the CA one. The results we'll discuss later on. Like in the previous system, we eliminated the use of TiO2. We did not use any TiO2 on the working electrode. Directly, the quantum dots were coated on the working electrode. The quantum dots were mixed with PVDF. In the DMF solution, a viscous paste was created, and they were doctor bladed using 2 Scotch tapes. Now here, the working electrode was centered at 2 different temperatures, at 100 degrees centigrade and 200 degrees centigrade, named as CA100 and CA200. You can see that there is a difference in color in between 2. The CA200 is darker in color. At 200 degrees centigrade, DMF, PVDF and mercaptolithanol, all of these 3 cannot be present because evaporation point, boiling point is lower than 200 degrees centigrade. That's why it can be assumed that this is basically acting as probably acting as bulk particles, but that will be made clear in the results and discussion part. The rest of the fabrication process of the solar cell was kept the same. Next, for the third system, where RGO was used, in this we prepared CDSE quantum dots with a different approach here. The CDSE precursor for the cadmium precursor was cadmium nitrate, and a mixed solvent consisting of water and methanol in the ratio 70:30 was taken. The selenium precursor was the same, but the solvent was again water plus methanol in the ratio 70:30. Unlike the previous 2 approaches where the capping agent was added towards the end, here we added the capping agent with the cadmium precursor. Also, the sodium selenosulfate solution was filtered. After about 1.5 hours of refluxing, the solution was filtered so that any trace amount of selenium, if present, that could be removed. The solubility found out was approximately 95%. So 40 ml of the sodium selenosulfate was injected in both the beakers, and the final reaction temperature was 30 and 50 degrees. So again, the QDs were filtered, washed, and they were stored in refrigerator, and they were named as SE30 and SE50. For serious quantum dots, again the precursor chosen for cadmium was cadmium nitrate. Sulfur precursor was kept the same, sodium sulfide. Here also, the capping agent was added with the cadmium precursor, followed by adding of the sulfur precursor. The final reaction temperature was 50 degrees centigrade. The QDs were washed, again centrifuged and stored in refrigerator and named as S50. Now, fabrication or synthesis of the reduced graphene oxide. For this, we chose the microwave exfoliation method, where the precursor chosen was graphite flakes. The graphite flakes were taken in a PTFE beaker and were microwaved at 600 watt for 60 seconds. Next, basically with microwave exfoliation, it formed graphite oxide, exfoliated graphite oxide. Then the sonication was carried out using water and methanol in the ratio 30:70, and they were sonicated for about 96 hours. This led to graphene oxide because the layers were exfoliated. The reduction, where hydrazine monohydrate, the reducing agent, was taken, where 3 milligram of each, for 3 milligram of the sample, 1 microliter of hydrazine monohydrate was taken. And this was sent, they were sonicated and stirred and alternately. This, after about 1 or 2 days of this process, they were filtered with methanol and dried at 80 degrees centigrade. The final pH which we wanted to maintain was pH 7. Device fabrication. The device fabrication here was a little trickier than the rest of the 2 processes. Firstly, for coating reduced graphene oxide. 8 milligram of the reduced graphene oxide was sonicated in 4 ml of PEG for about 96 or 120 hours for obtaining a clear dispersed solution. The RGO was coated over the blocking layer coated FTO by spin coating, and it was sintered at 350 degrees centigrade for about 1 hour. Next, on the RGO coated electrode, TiO2 was Dr. bladed and it was sintered at 500 degrees centigrade. Next, the QDs were coated over the TiO2 in graded structure. First was the CDS QD prepared at 50 degrees centigrade. Basically, the TiO2 coated FTO was dipped into the QD solution, and with stirring, the coating was went on for about 6 hours. After 6 hours, the electrode was taken out from the solution. It was washed with acetone, and it was dipped into the next solution of CDSE50, CDSE30, and finally a passivation layer of ZNS was coated over it by CELA method. The electrolyte and the platinum counter electrode were kept the same. For comparison, we prepared two DSSCs also. And the first DSSC consisted of TiO2 and N3 dye only. The second DSSC consisted of RGO prior to TiO2 and ruthenium dye and the N3 dye. And the BM3 was the cell which we prepared with quantum dots. That is the process which is described here. Now moving on to the results and discussion part. This is the CDSC, the four set of CDSCs which were prepared. C40, 50, 16, 70. The powder form which we saw in the image earlier, a small amount of the powder was taken with water and were mixed properly, and this is the image which we observed in daylight. Under short range UV light, we could see prominent luminescence ranging from light blue to light green color. This basically shows that the QDs are of high quality. The core shell QD. This is the image of CA, that is the one with capping agent, and this is without capping agent. We can see there the WCA is darker in color, and also the precipitate has been formed at the bottom. This one was centrifuged again at 10,000 RPM for 5 minutes, and the supernatant was also colored. So the supernatant was observed under short range UV light, and we can see prominent luminescence again here. And the residue obtained from after centrifuging this was kept overnight in vacuum oven at 50 degrees centigrade. Now the CDSC QDs which were prepared with mixed solvent under daylight, under short range UV light, and under long range UV light. In all the two, we can see prominent luminescence. Same E50 quantum dots. For CDS 50, greenish luminescence under short range UV light, but under long range UV light it did not show any luminescence. Next, the usual absorption study of the quantum dots. With increase in temperature, we can see that there is a shift in the absorption maxima. A red shift can be observed from 372 to 400.80 nanometers. We calculated the band gap via Tox plot, and the band gap changed from 2.9 to 2.32. The bulk band gap of CDSC quantum dots is 1.74 electron volts. So we were able to tune the band gap right from 1.74 electron volts to all the way up to 2.9 electron volts. The size was calculated according to XRD and compared to one of the previous papers which we had published using the similar method. The size, again we can see there is an increase in particle size with the decrease in band gap, which is as we know that the size is inversely proportional to the band gap of the QDs of the material.
Yeah, Karan, this is Saket here.
Yes. Yes, sir.
Can you go to the previous slide? So you are mentioning about the size.
Yes.
So and this size you have estimated by which method?
So Actually, this size came from XRD calculation, which is shown later.
No, but you are mentioning it is a particle size.
No, this is crystallite size, sir. This is crystallite size.
Crystallite size.
Yes, crystallite size.
Okay, but you have confirmed. You have also confirmed with the other characterization.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. They are shown on later.
Because from the XRD, because sometimes it's difficult up to that level.
Yes, sir. TEM was also done, sir. That is there in the results.
Okay, please carry on.
Yes. Okay. Next, the usual absorption and the band gap of the core shell quantum dots. For the CA quantum dots, we can see the lambda max at 430 nanometers and the calculated band gap was 2.57. And for WCA, it is 478. We can see without tapping agent, the particle, the absorption maxima has shifted. There is a red shift in absorption maxima, and the band gap obtained was 2.24 electron volts. Next, the usual absorption of the QDs, CDSE QDs, which are prepared with mixed solvent, and CDS quantum dots. For CDS quantum dot, a single absorption maxima was obtained at 375 nanometers, and the obtained band gap was 2.96 electron volts. The bulk band gap of CDS quantum dots is 2.42 electron volts, so there is a major shift in the band gap. Next, the CDSE quantum dot showed two absorption maximas. For SE30, it was 435.8 and 364. For SE50, as expected, there should be a red shift in the absorption maxima, and so the absorption maximum obtained was 443.6 and 367.80 nanometers. Consequently, we can see as the progress, as the temperature rised, with rise in temperature, there is a decrease in the band gap of the particles, band gap of the QDs. So for SE30 it was 2.77, for SE50 it is 2.68. Next, the photoluminescence spectroscopy. This is for the 4 QD sets which we prepared. Each of the QDs show 2 emission peaks. The excitation was at 270 nanometers, and we can see emission in the UV visible as well as in the near IR region. Also, the peaks, emission peaks are quite uniform, which shows that the prepared QDs should have a narrow size distribution. The FWHM of the calculated peaks came out to be this one, and as we can see that with the rise in temperature, the FWHM is increasing, which is again a suggestion that the particle size is increasing with the rise in temperature. Also, we can see small unresolved peaks in each of the samples, which is maybe some unresolved peaks or maybe due to some background error of the instrument. Next, PL of the core shell quantum dots. The WCA quantum dots did not show any luminescence, so they were not included in the discussion. The CA quantum dots, they were excited at 250 nanometers. And they showed the first exciton emission peak at 300 nanometers and the second one at 598 nanometers. We can see again here very sharp and narrow emission peaks were obtained, which is again suggestive of the narrow size distribution of the QD particles. Next, this is the for the mixed solvent CDSE quantum dots. The first emission is occurring somewhere in the UV region, but because we were not able to obtain that, and a second wide emission peak is obtained with some uprising here also. Because of the wide emission peaks, it suggests that there is a wide distribution in the particle size and there could be non-uniformity present in the particles. The same was the case with CDS quantum dots. First emission maxima was obtained in the UV region, and a second broad emission was obtained, which is again suggestive of some non-uniformity present in the particle size. the X-ray diffraction of the CDSE quantum dots. For CE40, the estimated particle size by Scherer formula was 2.80, crystallite size was 2.80 nanometers, and the obtained XRD pattern is suggestive of the Wurtzite phase, that is Wurtzite phase of the quantum dots. The XRD of the core shell quantum dots. The obtained pattern, XRD pattern, is suggestive of cubic structure with the estimated crystallite size is approximately 3 nanometers. Now for the...
can you go to the previous slide?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So here you are telling it's a cubic.
Yes, sir, cubic structure.
Yeah, so but this, what about this 311?
So this is a Miller index.
No, that is the Miller indices.
Right.
But generally, once it is a cubic, so you will not see the splitting. So it is coming from where?
So the 311
Generally for the cubic, if you see the
yes,
cubic,
yes,
there is not any splitting in the peak.
and in these two peaks.
Yeah.
Sir, actually, I'll show you another one. This is also of CD. This is of CDS quantum dots.
So how did you index it?
Sir, splitting of peaks is also observed in the CDS. In core shell quantum dots, the peaks splitting is there. We have. I checked in references also. 2 peaks are observed.
Okay, so your
Yes.
system is like CDSE and
CDS in core shell structure. Core is CDSE, shell is CDS.
What is there in a core?
So CDSE is the core and CDS is the shell.
So okay, so when you perform the X-ray diffraction, because it's a core
Yes,
cell.
sir. Yes, sir. It's a core shell structure.
So do you know that what is the penetration depth for the X-ray?
Sir, it goes all the way up to the atomic scale.
So here, the CDS is your cell.
Yeah.
Okay. So
No, CDS is the shell, sir.
Sir.
CDSE is the core.
So what is the structure of the cadmium selenide?
So both are actually present in the cubic structure.
Both are in a cubic structure.
Right. Yes.
Okay.
Same phase.
So in the case of, is there any difference between these two cubic structures?
No, sir. They are both present. No, sir. The same phase and same structure of both.
Same phase, but there may be some differences in the parameters. Did you work it out?
Sir, I can show you, sir. The TEM. We have the SAED pattern from the TEM, and there was a uniform pattern was obtained. No discrepancy was there.
Okay, so I'm just going towards the very basic questions. Okay, so you just
Right.
carry on, then I will
Sure.
ask later. Okay.
Sure, sir. Sure. So this is the X-ray diffraction pattern of the CDSE quantum dots, which were made with the mixed solvent method, using mixed solvent. They were not able to extract the powder from the solution, powder from the solution, and because of this, there is a substantial noise present in the XRD. Again, the CDSE quantum dots prepared here were of Wurtzite phase, and the average crystallite size obtained was 4.40 nanometers. Next, for the CDS quantum dots, we obtained a cubic structure with a crystallite size of 2.30 nanometers. In some cases, these two peaks are resolved, and in some cases, these two peaks combine together to form one single peak. The TEM image of the CE40 quantum dots, we can see as we discussed in the PL image, we assumed that the particle, because of the high intensity and uniform nature of the PL spectra, we can see that the particles obtained are almost perfectly circular in shape, and the obtained average particle size was 4.50 nanometers. The core shell quantum dots. There was a substantial time between the synthesis and when we could we were able to carry out the TEM characterization. Because of this, there is not individual particles cannot be spotted out because of the Ostwald ripening which happens in the quantum dots, and so they've all kind of merged and clumped together. Although if we see carefully by enlarging this image, we can see that a dark center is there with a very light exterior shell. The fringe width calculated was 0.19 nanometers. The SAED pattern is also shown, which confirms the cubic structure of the core shell quantum dots. And the average particle size obtained here was 4 nanometers. Next, the TEM image of the SE30 quantum dots. As we saw in the PL spectra that broad emission peaks were obtained, non-uniform broad emission peaks were obtained in both CDSE and CDS quantum dots. The same is observed and reflected in the TEM image, where we can see a lot of non-uniformity present in the samples were used for calculations, and the average particle size obtained was 4.74 nanometers. And that for the case of CDSE quantum dots, it was 3.92 nanometers. Now, the Raman analysis of the reduced graphene oxide. The D band, G band peaks and 2D band peaks were at the expected positions. The graphite peak or the G band peak has a much higher intensity compared to the D band peak. So by calculating the ratio between these two, we can identify the crystallinity or the morphicity of the material. The obtained ratio is 0.24, which suggests that the RGO prepared is of highly crystalline nature. Had the D band been absolutely absent, it would be of perfectly crystalline material. Also, the intensity difference between 2D and D band, there is the 2D band is at higher intensity than D band. So this suggests that the RGO prepared would have singular, would be of very few sheets would be stacked together, and probably single sheets also could be obtained from here. Devices, the solar cells which were prepared. In the first set, where 3 different devices were prepared using 3 different ratios of the quantum dots, that is QDSC1. We can see we obtained a VOC of 0.86, next 1.22, and in the third one we obtained a VOC of 1.45. So we can see that we have been able to tune the band alignment, which led to the increase in the open circuit voltage of the solar cells. Also, by tuning the band alignment, the efficiency of the solar cells also improved, and it went from 0.1 to 0.69%. The QDSC3 was prepared in the ratio 20-10-50-20. This ratio was chosen according to the absorption which we obtained, and hence we can see that this is showing the maximum efficiency and better parameters than the rest. Also, a standard DSSC was prepared, and we can see that the efficiency compared of QD compared to the DSSC is quite higher. Substantial effect of polarization can be seen in all of the JV characteristics, which is because of the usage of the solid polymer electrolyte, that is the PO-PG with iodine redox couple. Because of that, we can see the polarization. Next, the core shell quantum dots. After preparing the cell was studied here for 60 days. We wanted to check the stability of the cell as well as the effect of the polymer electrolyte on the solar cell. So the C100 at day 1, it gave a VOC of 1.3, At day 3, it was 1.27, and at day 60, it was 1.24. Because of the use of solid polymer electrolyte, it takes a substantial time in the working electrode formation. Because so it takes time to penetrate within the electrode, and hence the cell parameters change in the initial 48 to 78 hours. And so there is a change in the JV characteristics and consequently the change in efficiency and cell parameters. After day 60, we obtained an efficiency of 0.35%, which is the JSC is similar to what we obtained. JSC is the same, but the efficiency has improved. And this is actually JSC average which we have taken and not the actual JSC here. Because of the strong polarization, the J max is much higher than the JSC. So in order to compensate for that, we have taken an average value of JSC here. In case of CA200, where the electrode was centered at 200 degrees centigrade, and we discussed that probably bulk formation of the particles has taken place, where we can see the efficiency is quite poor in comparison to the CA100 one. And after a period of 60 days, the efficiency has almost reduced to half of the original value. Next, the third set, BM1, 2, and 3. BM1 is the standard dye-sensitized solar cell. BM2 is the RGO modified dye-sensitized solar cell, and BM3 is the RGO modified with quantum dot solar cell. We can see that maximum efficiency, the cell parameters obtained in the QDSC, that is BM3, was higher than all of these two. VOC of 0.92 was obtained with a JSC of 4.5 and an efficiency of 1.81%. Polarization effect could have been removed here. Then the fill factor would also have improved slightly, and the efficiency would be somewhere around 2.5 or 2.6%. That the graded structure of the quantum dots has improved the charge transfer characteristics here, and that's why we have been able to obtain higher value of current. So now, in order to see if we have been able to exploit a wider region of the electromagnetic spectrum or not, we went for the wavelength dependent analysis, where by irradiating them with cell with different wavelengths, under different wavelengths, the IV characteristics were taken. We took a fixed voltage of 0.3 and the current values were plotted. In BM1, we can see the first maxima is obtained at 550 nanometers, and the second maxima is obtained at 650. This is consistent with the absorption property of the N3 or the ruthenium dye. This was obtained in BM2. Again, first maxima 550, second at 650. In BM3, that is the quantum dot solar cell, we can see here there is almost a straight line. On expanding, we can see there the characteristics, the current value is consistently increasing with the wavelength. And the first maxima obtained was at 500 nanometers, and from there it goes on. From here, we can easily identify that the QDSC has been able to capture a greater part of the spectrum, and because of this, there has been an increase in the cell parameters. The impedance analysis of cells. This is for the QDSC3, where the efficiency of 0.69% and a VOC of 1.45 volt was obtained. The first curve, the first semicircle is not visible here, so it has been expanded. Because of the use of solid polymer electrolyte, you can see the impedance obtained is very, very high compared to what is obtained with liquid electrolytes or gel electrolytes. Although there is a huge difference between the impedance parameters in dark and in light condition, which was used. Same was there in for the core shell quantum dots. with dark and light, there was a considerable difference, but again the impedance values. So this impedance was taken after the 60-day period, and so impedance which would have been observed, which the cell would give would be what we have here, but even then the impedance is higher than ones which we obtained from liquid electrolytes. Next, impedance from the three cells, BM1, BM2 and BM3. Because of the use of a TiO2 layer and the graded structure of QDs, we can see that the impedance has gone down significantly compared to the other two cells, and this has again reflected in the solar cell characteristics, that is the efficiency, VOC and the current. The outcomes of my thesis work: in the first one, we prepared CDSC quantum dots with different ratios. In the second one, we prepared it with CDSC, CDS core-shell quantum dots. In both of these two systems, we eliminated TiO2 and let QDs play the role of semiconductor as well as the sensitizer. That because of that, the negative effect was on the impedance characteristics. In the third one, we employed a transparent layer of RGO, crystalline RGO, followed by TiO2 and the graded structure of QDs, followed by again a passivation layer. The solar cell parameters and the characteristics improved significantly. Improved the charge transfer characteristics compared to the similar DSSC. So in the first set, 1.45 volt was obtained with an efficiency 5 times that of DSSC. With CDS quantum dots, VOC of 1.27 volt was obtained, and the stability beyond 60 days was observed, and the efficiency obtained was 3 times that of DSSC. And in the third one, the efficiency obtained was 8 times that of the standard DSSC with the current value of 4.50 milliamperes per centimeter square and efficiency of 1.81%. See that by using TiO2, the cell impedance parameters also reduced significantly. Although the solid polymer electrolyte does pose high impedance, and this can only be counteracted by use of gel or. A brief summary of the work. We have been able to tune the it's the wrong value, 1.45. Anyway, the VOC obtained, we have been able to tune the band alignment of the quantum dots and improve the charge transfer characteristics, as we can see from the efficiency which we have obtained, and these are the references which are used in the presentation. These are the list of publications which have come out from the thesis work. These are the publications which are there, which came out during my PS work but are not related to my thesis. And these 4 papers were published before the start of PhD. Was presented in the conferences. I would like to reflect the efforts laid by my supervisors, Professor Bhaskar Bhattacharya and Professor Mehra, in every single step. I thank CSIR India for providing me with the Senior Research Fellowship for the first 2 years and the extension in the last year. I thank Professor Pramod Kumar Singh for helping me in every possible way, and my colleagues here at Material Research Laboratory for all their help and support. I humbly thank the previous PhD coordinator, Professor Rajesh Kumar, for his support and enthusiasm. I thank previous Dean Research Sir, Professor Srikanth, and the present Dean Research Sir, Professor H.S.P. Rao, for their support in every possible way. I thank Professor N.B. Singh for his teachings and the invaluable lessons. And last but not least, I thank all the faculties and staff members of Physics and Chemistry Department for all their help, support, and encouragement. I can talk about the post-PhD work if it's required.
Yeah, thank you, Karan, for the nice presentation. So, I request if anyone is interested to ask some questions. I don't know how many students are there. Student can ask questions. Faculty, they can ask the questions.
Yeah, it is open to everyone. Anyone can ask.
Yeah. So that's why there is the first preference to the student. The student should ask the
Correct.
question. And
Correct.
okay. So I think nobody is asking the question. So I will start some of the questions. So first of all, I would like to thank to the Professor Bhaskar and Professor Mehra and student because so for this wonderful nice work. Okay.
I think everybody else should mute so that.
Then it will be good.
Then
Some sound is coming.
Professor Bhattacharya, I think you should also mute.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. So, Karan, actually, I have because I already gone through your thesis. I have suggested some of the comments and then some of the queries. I think most probably you have already, and then you must have discussed with your supervisors. Okay, and some of the things I will ask that. Okay. Let's say, for example, from your last slide, you mentioned that your open circuit voltage is around 1.45 optimized compound.
Right.
Yeah, but your efficiency was going down in that. If I see that table.
Yes, efficiency.
As compared to the steady, because you have shown that. Yeah. See, in the first one, we are mixed size, cadmium selenide quantum dots. Here it is, you are mentioning it is 1.45. This is the best compound,
No,
best quantum dot. And efficiency is 0.69.
the mixed range.
Yeah.
Sir, actually, besides QDs, we prepared 3 different sets. 3 different sets. This was the best we observed. So we prepared 3 different sets here.
So then after that, yeah. Okay. Yeah, this I have shown. I have seen. Okay. So
Right.
go to the final slide. Final slide. Outcomes. Yeah. Hello. I'm not able to see the outcome. This
Outcomes,
slide.
okay.
You have to share your screen with the last slides.
It's visible.
Not yet.
No.
Not yet.
I think some sound is coming from Bhaskar Bhattacharya.
Something. I think lunchtime is already over. So some mixing sound is there.
I'm not doing much. This is Somar.
You have some problem, Karan? To share your screen?
Yeah, he's sharing here.
Karan left the meeting.
Oh,
I think his network got stuck up somewhere.
No, actually he is in the campus. So
Oh, I
network
see.
is very good there.
Then it must be good. Very good.
Maybe he has a small issue with his laptop and
Maybe.
I think, sir, Karan is now in material research laboratory nearby you.
Yeah, I know. I could see the background. I could see its background. We have that characteristic. I think he is here. Hello, Karan.
I think I'm here now. Lost the connection. Yes, sir, I'm here now.
Now join. And now you share your screen.
Yes, sir.
Karan, it is not visible.
Sir, now it is visible?
No, not
Not
yet.
yet. Not yet.
You start presentation again and then shift to that slide.
Is it not?
Yeah, it is coming.
Slow
Yeah,
connection.
it's coming. Yeah, it's coming. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Now go to next.
So, Professor BB,
That-
you mute it.
Yes. Go to that summary. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
That is okay. Yeah. So I'm just curious because I wanted to understand, because you see cadmium selenide quantum dot, then you went to the 4 cell, okay, but
Yes, sir.
your efficiency is decreased and efficiency is also decreased.
Yes, sir.
So then what was the logic?
Sir, actually, we were trying to tune the band alignment of the QDs by using TiO2 with the quantum dots. The VOC which we obtained with single only when we tried with only CDSE and TiO2, the band gap obtained was fairly between 0.6, 0.7, 0.6, 0.7 only. So in order to tune the band gap, tune the band alignment of the cell, we eliminated the TiO2 and we used only the quantum dots. This led to the improvement in the VOC. Although because of the use of the solid polymer electrolyte, there was in the efficiency.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. However, in the third system, when the graded structure of QDs and the passivation layer which stopped the recombination and other factors, we were able to obtain a good VOC efficiency.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so some of the basic question I think you have already prepared for some of the things already you have discussed. Some of the things already you have discussed during the presentation, yeah. So what is the status of the perovskite based solar cell?
So currently the in perovskite solar cells is somewhere around 24%, which is obtained, which is making a hybrid structure between silicon and perovskite and organic, and the lifetime of the solar cell is still employed in open air conditions.
Because they are halide. That may be the reason. Because their lifetime is not up to that.
Halide.
Okay.
Although there is a major
Okay.
research going on in encapsulating the halides so that the structure do not get destroyed in the open air conditions, and so that their lifetime and all can be improved. Recently, I read a paper where they have shown the stability up to a year.
Sure, that is good. And then actually, I will ask that, okay, you were mentioning that, okay, you have estimated the size through the X-ray diffraction.
Right, sir?
Okay. And and then you have compared to the this TM analysis also.
Yes, sir.
So from the TM, what kind of sizes you are getting?
So
Maybe
for
just
the,
roughly. You don't have to tell the.
okay, so for the core shell quantum dots,
Spell that.
core shell quantum dots, the size obtained was 4 nanometers, and with XRD the size was 3 nanometers. 1.5 nanometer difference was there in the crystallite size and the particle size.
Okay. So see, because crystallized size and particle size, is there any difference or both the same thing?
No, sir, this difference. Particles are crystallite is the single crystal size, but particle size is particles are made up of is an agglomeration of crystals, agglomeration of crystallites.
So in your case, I am because with this sizes, I am assuming that, okay, your particle size is almost equivalent to the crystallized size. Is it correct?
Yes, sir. Almost equivalent. Yes, there is a minor difference in between them.
Okay. And then what are the corrections you have used when you estimated the sizes from the XRD? Say? What kind of yeah? So what kind of
Corrections.
corrections?
Yeah, you must have used the Serre formula, no?
Yes, sir. Serre formula for calculating the particle size, crystallite size.
Yes, yes.
D is equal to k lambda by beta cos theta.
So, but in this beta,
That we have obtained, and yes, sir. Beta is 12 at half maximum FWH.
So did you taken that
Corrections
account?
in FWHM. Okay. In unresolved. Okay. Sir, in the peaks which are unresolved, there we from the origin only we try to extrapolate it, and we calculated the FWHM from the origin software.
So, Karan, okay, it's okay. So there you have to use some corrections, and then this you have so you have index. How did you index these peaks?
So that was from the literature and the GCPDS data we obtained with the from the.
So just for the curiosity, can you see from the JCPDS data? So you must have matched with the cadmium sulfide or cadmium selenide, something like that.
Yes, sir.
So there did you by any chance did you compare the intensity? In your case, how much is the maximum intense peak? What was the intensity?
So actually, we did not compare the intensity because intensity also will. We did not compare that, sir.
So in your
one of the samples.
In your sample, how much was the maximum intensity?
So one of the samples, I remember the intensity count was somewhere near to 9,500 or 10,000.
Okay.
Yes.
But from the XRD profile, it doesn't look like that. Okay, 10,000 it most probably it may be the very smooth.
Sir, actually here because of the amorphous nature of the QDs, smoothness is smooth peaks are hardly obtained in quantum dots because of the very small particle size.
So how did you measure the FWHM there?
So FWHM was calculated, actually in all of these, the FWHM was calculated from the XRD data itself. Means it came with the measurements came with the data, and the rest we could calculate it from the origin software.
So you have taken care of the baseline corrections and all those things?
Yes sir, yes sir, yes sir, that was done.
And this crystallized size you have estimated by using only the main intense peak, or you have taken care, you have used the several other peaks?
So all the maximum intensity, for example, in this one, so we have the size was calculated from both the peaks and the average was taken.
Okay. So one thing is that here see you are mentioning this 311, 220.
Yes sir.
So which
Right,
one
sir.
is the cubic?
So 220 is the cubic one.
What is the reason behind that?
I haven't studied that. I actually saw it in the reference which is given here.
So
Reference and
yeah,
and the
I wanted to hear that. The thing is that because you are doing the very basic characterizations, okay, so you should be right now. There will not be the your Professor Mehra or Professor Bhaskar will not be there to clear your doubts. Okay, so now you have to start your independent career, and then these things.
True, sir.
So things, yeah.
Yes.
So because in my query also I mentioned that okay, what are the extinction rule? Okay, if you have gone through that, okay, I can see also what is the extinction or what are the extinction rules for reflection in SCC lattice and in Wolf's
Yes sir.
Okay,
Yes sir.
so see, for example, right now you have the JCPDS file. That is fine.
Right sir.
Okay,
Right.
you have some data, okay, some literature. But think about that when you will get you are getting the profile for unknown system. So then how will you proceed?
Right sir. Right sir.
You are the-
So I need
you are the
to, I will look
You are
into
the
it.
first one. Okay.
Right sir.
So
Got it.
that is required. And another thing, okay, I don't have much questions. Okay, so because in between also I asked, okay, and
Right.
and then about the Raman. Okay,
Yes, sir.
you can show so any Raman plot quickly. You can show.
So this one, yeah, Raman.
Okay. So here also I think most probably from the literature this D band, G band, and 2D band. Okay.
Yes sir.
And you mentioned that okay, so you are so your file. You see, first of all, you just quickly can tell that why did you perform the Raman?
Okay, so Raman was basically to check whether RGO has been formed or not. That is the basic check for reduced graphene oxide, carbon nanotubes. The basic check is Raman. So that's why Raman spectroscopy, Raman analysis was carried out.
Okay. So apart from that, okay, you also mentioned that it reflects the crystallinity.
Yes sir.
So do you think that okay from XRD, see generally we use the X-ray diffraction as the first tool to check
Right,
the
sir, absolutely.
crystallinity, and then Raman maybe the I'm not mixed. We both you see we rely more on the X-ray diffraction rather than
Absolutely.
the.
Absolutely true, sir. But I studied a couple of papers, and one of the most important paper in Raman analysis is the one quoted here of Ferrari and others. So from here only I got the idea where they have shown how to calculate and the reason behind all the crystallinity and other stuff from Raman. So that's why we calculated the crystallinity from the Raman analysis.
Because other things can be also extracted from the Raman analysis, not that
Absolutely, yes.
maybe
Yes,
their
sir.
modes and all those things, which will
Right, right.
because you have the set of samples. If you consistently just record Raman and then see that okay how their modes are varying, and then
Yes, sir.
some other insight can be. And then what is the
Yes.
role of the impedance analysis here? You have shown some of the circuits.
Yes, sir. So impedance analysis was to check the impedance occurring at the junctions of the solar cell. So here the first, this is the series resistance which is occurring because of the external circuit wires, the FTOs and other clips and stuff. The second one is the impedance occurring at the junction between counter electrode and electrolyte. And the third one, which is the bigger semicircle, that is the impedance occurring at the junction between between the electrolyte and the photoanode, that is the working electrode. So we wanted to see what is the impedance happening at the junctions, and because the impedance has a clear impact on the cell parameters, its efficiency, fill factor, and other stuff. So we wanted to analyze that, and that's why we carried out the IS analysis.
So you have worked it out this all the this what is that? Okay, grain boundary resistance, huh?
Interface, basically the impedance occurring at the interface of the different interfaces. Two interfaces are there in the solar, in the DSSC or the QDSC. So we studied that impedance occurring at the interface.
So yeah, so other things what exactly I asked. I just asked that okay, one comparative table on the studied compound and prominent properties along with reported latest systems. Okay. So did you provide in your thesis?
So this is the summary of.
This is your summary. This is your summary.
Yes, sir. So for the latest systems, it was actually there in the in the introduction table only we had put.
No, introduction table, that is okay. But see, point that okay, one comparative table where your system and the latest system in your field, some other research community may be there. Okay, so you can compare where you belong. You understand?
Yes, I understand. Actually, the efficiency obtained, higher efficiency which is obtained is with the solid state devices, goes from 9.5, which is obtained with PBS quantum dots, and up to 14.3%, which is obtained with CS-PBI3 quantum dots, the recent ones. Since we are using sandwich structure with the solid polymer electrolyte, there isn't really a comparison, firstly because of the cost which goes into making the devices.
So you can compare. So you don't have to say that okay, your systems are the best.
No, absolutely not that.
You have to compare. Okay, the research, you cannot say that okay, your system is the best. Okay.
No, sir, that's not the case. Absolutely.
Working in the field.
Absolutely.
So that will be see. Thing is that okay, people will read your thesis.
Right.
Okay. Finally, when they will see the table, okay, so that is it's like a summary kind of thing.
Right.
Okay, so that is okay. So, just a minute, yeah. Yeah, so Karan, that's all actually. These are my questions, and Professor Bhaskar, so maybe you can just take a lead. What exactly the others want to ask some questions?
Maybe Professor Rao?
Yeah, the floor is open now. I think this is the last time that anybody could ask questions before PhD, of course. So, yes. So they're missing, sir. I know he's very eager.
No, I have discussed him many times, so I don't have any questions.
Because
Thank you, sir.
Sujit Lahan and Professor P.K. Singh. You left your, microphone on, so I thought
No, sir, my mask is with me. Now you can see here, it's every time with me. Sir, I think Karan is just sitting, I think, next to my room. From my own side, I think I have already discussed many things. So from my side, this time, no
Well,
question.
Karan, you know, if there are no questions are there, but I will pull your leg a little bit. What's the
Sure,
difference
sir.
between SEM and TEM?
So SEM is scanning electron microscope.
In principle behind
Sir.
SEM and TEM.
So the operating voltage is higher in TEM. Also, the first basic difference is that in SEM, the sample is kept at the bottom, so the light is not transmitting through it. But in TEM, the light transmits, it's transmitted through the sample.
Principle behind these two. There is a fundamental principle difference.
So scanning electron microscope, it scans the surface, and we obtain the morphology of the sample. While from TEM, the light is diffracted from the sample surface, from the sample, and we can obtain the particle size.
Both are true. Both of them are particle size. Both are. One is, of course, scanning by what?
Electrons, scanning electrons over the surface.
But it scans. How does it scan? Whereas TEM, you told correctly, reflection. But for scanning,
Yes, sir.
do you understand what I'm trying to tell?
Yes, sir. Yes, I understand.
Then,
So in SEM, it is deflection.
deflection. Yeah, it's quite good. Yeah, very correct. Now, what is the principle in powder XRD versus single crystal XRD?
Okay.
You have taken powder XRD and you also referred to a single crystal somewhere. So what is the fundamental difference between?
So powder XRD, there are actually multiple layers. There are multiple layers from which the X-ray goes into the sample. And in single crystal XRD, there is a single crystal. There are not multiple layers. There is a single
Why
crystal.
there are so many layers are there? So many layers. Molecules arranged in a particular pattern is present even in single crystal XRD. Single crystal, right?
Yes, sir. In single crystal, there is a uniformity.
Uniformity.
So there is a uniformity in the arrangement of the crystals, and in powder
not arrangement of the crystal, arrangement of the
atomic layer, molecules, atoms and molecules.
Or
Yes.
atoms or molecules. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Whereas in powder XRD, they are not there. But then
They are not uniform. There is a random arrangement of the crystals.
the arrangement of the
Random arrangement of the atoms and molecules.
atoms and molecules. As a consequence of that, what happens?
So diffraction takes place. There is interference and diffraction goes on, which creates
Diffraction is there even in single crystal XRD. That's a diffractometer, right? It diffracts.
Yes, sir.
But
Yes, sir.
whereas in powder XRD,
Powder XRD, there is interference.
interference and reflection.
Interference and reflection
That's the one which we mentioned.
of the incident beam.
So what is that famous equation which really determines
So Bragg's law or Derbyshire formula.
Bragg's law? At least that much I know.
Bragg's law is n lambda is equal to 2d sin theta.
Okay, why does 2D
Yes.
come into the picture? Why not 1D?
So because one is the incident angle, another is the diffracted angle, so combining of them, that's why that is true.
All right, that's all. Once you take your PhD, no, you are done good. Honestly speaking, you are done good. Presentation is good.
Thank you, sir.
Sir, it's your pleasure, Professor Saket, to wind up if there are no more questions.
Yeah. I don't have my. I don't have it.
I don't think there is.
Professor Mehra is saying.
I don't think.
Professor Mehra is saying something.
Professor Mehra is saying that.
Hello.
हाँ बताइए सर.
सर आपका स्पीकर सर माइक्रोफोन ठीक नहीं है.
And
मेहरा साहब आपकी आवाज नहीं आ रही है. नहीं.
Picture is worth 1,000 words, so we can see his picture, which is worth 1,000 words already. I think he's blessing the candidate.
the current house so much work on
नहीं आवाज आ रही सर, नहीं आ रही है.
No, sir, we will take that he's blessing.
what anyway.
चलिए आपका आशीर्वाद हो गया उसको.
Professor Saket, Professor Asthana.
Yeah, yes, sir.
You can wind up. It's your pleasure to declare. That's the reason why everybody is waiting.
Okay. So I congratulate Professor Bhaskar, Professor Mehra, and especially to Mr. Karan. Okay. Now I declare that this PhD provisionally declared. Then after that, okay. So right now you become a doctor, Karan.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
So I have seen so many professors over here. I couldn't get much time to discuss, and then I convey my seat. First of all, this Dr. Bhaskar Bhattacharya. I was doing the MSc that time. He was doing the this PhD during that time. Okay, so now I can recognize your face. Okay, so I will also switch on my camera. Okay, because sometimes bandwidth problem is there. So I used to this thing. So you can recognize my face. I was the classmate of Amrish. Okay. So, yeah, that is the thing. So thank you. Okay, I see. I have so many the literature from the Professor Nakshatra Bahadur Singh and then Professor Mehra. But this is my privilege to see you. Okay, not personally, but over the this. Okay, and then I am already keep in touch with the Professor R.P. Singh through the emails. And then thank you to all the faculty and then giving me the opportunity to. Okay, so I will let's see that once education is improved, there may be the more opportunity that you can visit us and then I can visit you. So that is the congratulations once again to the team.
Thank you, Professor Saket. So in fact, made my 10th PhD at Sharda University.
That's very nice.
It became in 2 digits.
भास्कर जी,
Sir,
आप 10 नंबर ही हो गए.
फोन भी मेरा 10 नंबर ही था. अब ये करण हमको 10 नंबर ही और बना दिया.
So this is 10 number and then Sharda University 101.
Yes.
That's a good number. That is, and sir, actually one thing is that suppose those fonts, if you can forward me in some editable version, I can edit it there, either in doc format or PDF, because it's a image file. So I cannot do anything there. So until I will take a print out and then it can.
So if you can take a print out, you see, that will be nice.
No, but that is my concern. Right now we are working from home. Okay. So if you have something in a doc format or in a PDF format where I can write things.
Okay.
So unnecessarily, because in my institute we are not allowed right now because your numbers are also increasing. So thing is that it will be delayed.
No. I'll try to do something, or Professor Bhattacharya can also do something.
Yeah.
That we will, but you can put some electronic signature kind of thing.
Yeah,
no?
that I can put. That is not a problem.
Okay. So
So
Not a problem. Yeah.
maybe I will, short form, I will type it in Word and then share with Saket.
and send it to him so that I
But
can.
Yeah.
yes, and then he will put his comments. Put the
Otherwise,
electronic signature and then send back.
Yeah. Otherwise, you can ask to Professor RC Singh. Last time he sent me all the forms. So there, I think I have done the.
RC Singh sir is also
He is-
online. Maybe he
he-
can help. He can help with the remuneration form. Is it possible, sir?
No, actually, I think I have report form was also there for the thesis evaluation.
thesis report that was in Word form. This
No, it was in-
maybe I can type.
This report was in Word form, whereas the remuneration is a scanned form. Because that's what we got from this one.
Okay.
See, right now what I'm seeing is that there's no TADA thing. Only thing that is available is honorarium. So you
Yes.
can frame it in a more like a letter form and we'll tell it. Is that okay, sir?
You send a PDF copy to me
Ah.
and we will process it.
You write, you claim it exactly the whatever you there, you type it and then you just claim that. And what we definitely required is your
Signature.
bank details,
bank.
signature and bank details, so that the
Bank, okay. That whole detail is already there with the university, with the Professor RC Singh. But again, I will send it.
Sure.
Yeah.
because we have to send
I
it to
will
finance section, so the
Yeah,
old
yes,
is
yes.
gold.
Yeah.
All right.
So I will send as early as possible. Okay.
All right.
So I will send because report form is already in a doc format. That quickly I can tell I can do it. Yeah. Another is you are telling that okay I don't have to claim any P and all those things. So I will write my bank detail.
Ah.
Okay.
And write it
Who
also.
it maybe will make, who it
But
maybe
your claim is required. Your claim of
Okay.
your claim that amount sir will tell.
Ah.
The claim is required. That there is honorarium claimed is so much. That's it.
Okay. So I will send it through the email, and if you have any format, Professor RC Singh, if you have any format or anything, you can just forward it to me. I will do.
Sure.
You please send the report to me so that I can also put my signature and then send to
Yes.
Sure.
The guide has to put, then HOD has to
Singh
put.
and Sarra.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Because there is other people are there. They reply
Yes. No, not to all. To me.
all. Okay.
Thank you.
Because that the sequence is there. That is
The
sequence.
message from Mehra sir was current should focus now on multiple exciton generation to achieve quantum jump in efficiency. That was his message.
Okay. I will talk to Professor Mehra on his blessings were very much required.
Yeah.
So, Professor, now let us close it now.
Yeah, please.
Yeah.
Go ahead. That's
Thank you.
your pleasure
Thank you,
to
everyone.
outline.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Asthana, for I would have personally liked that you give a talk to the benefit of our audience. Maybe we will find another occasion so that you will give a talk. And say
Maybe
hello to
sometime.
my good friend there. F.A. Khan is my good friend.
Okay.
Professor Khan.
Okay.
And Satya Narayana, Sharada. There are so many chemistry faculty whom I know better in IA.
Okay.
All right. Anything else,
because
sir? Anybody else want to tell?
Yeah. It's a small word, so
Yeah.
definitely. Yeah. Sure, sir. So I love to. Yeah. Thank you very much. Congratulations, Karan.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. We'll wind up. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. I will stop the recording right now.
Thank you, sir.
You are telling Sir Professor Aziz Singh anything?
No, sir, I am congratulating Karan.
Acha, I'll stop recording after that.
you